I'm Paul, by the way, co-founder of Sphinx Chat, also work on Stackwork. But yeah, so do we want to put these back up here? Okay, everyone have these if they have a chance to. And then
show hands if you downloaded the wallet.
If anyone needs to scan it, they can.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay, all right, looks like everyone had a chance to.
Can we get the next slide? Maybe?
You have the clicker. Okay.
Cool. So, do you want to intro?
Ryan, you do this part.
All right. So, Moon Wallet is a really user-friendly Lightning wallet. Developers are down in Argentina. They've been Lightning OGs, working on this since 2017, before this was even live mainnet technology. So here in the interface, if you open up the wallet, you can see very clearly there's a send and receive button like this. You're on the left. And once you click the receive button, if you click up in the top right, you'll pop up a QR code scanner. And so that QR code scanner, you'll be able to scan. Let me see if it's on this next screen. Boom.
There you go.
You'll get a QR code that if you scan it, you should be able to withdraw something like 2,100 sats, I believe, Alex?
Yes.
2,100. There's a method to the madness. That number's very important. As Bitcoiners, we're big into numerology.
So, my company is Zebedee. We build infrastructure for Lightning and Bitcoin for game developers to integrate this technology, right? And what I was saying earlier is we've been hearing about people using Bitcoin for all sorts of purposes from a human rights perspective. And that's amazing and that's noble, and I support that in every single way. But we come from a product development background, right? So we are taking that technology and using that in current industries, and how can we actually use that technology to introduce novel concepts, novel capabilities, and specifically what Zebedee, my company, does is we focus on the gaming industry. So the gaming industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry around the world, and every game has rewards, it has points, it has gems, it has V-Bucks, right? Everything is sort of these monies inside of the games. So we use Lightning and Bitcoin, and what does it actually let you do? Specifically, everyone likes to talk about play to earn, right? We were talking about earning Bitcoin through playing games. That's a very big point, but even bigger than that, I think the key concept that we like to mention is virtual economies, which are economies that are inherently virtual, whether it's a game, whether it's a conference, live event. Those economies are likely to be much bigger and are becoming much bigger than real economies. And why is that? It's because there are no geographical constraints. I can send money to someone in Japan that's playing the same game as me, but I couldn't do that with the dollar network, right? And so Bitcoin, specifically through Lightning, allows you to do instant worldwide payments with near zero fees. We're calling these like nano transactions because they're so extremely minute and very cheap. And it sort of allows you to improve on customer retention. It allows you to introduce novel concepts to gamers. And we focus on using Bitcoin for that. At Zebedee, we provide the tools for the gamers and the game developers. So if you're a developer and you want to integrate Bitcoin into your game, you can just hit us up and we can power your game with it. But also gamers, they're entering to this new world. They don't know anything about Bitcoin. They don't know anything about Lightning. How do we just give them the tools to get the step ahead into this world? And so what does it actually mean to put Bitcoin into money? Put Bitcoin into games? Any and every interaction that happens inside of a game can now have value attached to it. We were just saying that you can send an email to everyone in the world, but you can't send value to anyone in the world. With Bitcoin, you can now do that. So whether it's beating the big boss and getting a reward, that can have actual value that you can extract out of the game. You can also bring value from outside of the game into the game. So there's streaming payments. We can go down this rabbit hole. And we have plenty of game developers of all sizes, whether it's indie game developers, one-person team, to very large gaming studios building upon our technology. And today, we just wanted to show you one example. This is Saratobi. It's a very simple game. If anyone would like to download it, it's right here. It's a free game, and you just download it. And the idea with this game is, if you've ever played Angry Birds, it's very similar. You just spin the little thing and you get it. But there's a random aspect to it where we have actual Bitcoin coins in the game. So the same way you would pick up a random coin that is worth nothing, you could pick up actual Bitcoins in the game. And picking up those Bitcoins, you can actually click a button that says, let me withdraw to my wallet, and the wallet you guys just downloaded, Moon Wallet, will just receive that money, and all of a sudden you are in control of the money that you just earned by playing a game for 10 minutes. So in one of our biggest user bases right now is Brazil. Brazil is actually the third country with the most online people in the world in terms of internet connectivity. They've been playing not only this game, this is just an example, but there's plenty of other games. It gets to a point where I think Stark was actually saying in her interview was people are actually earning so much Bitcoin through these games, and because of the volatility of Bitcoin, some people have earned Bitcoin from March of 2020 and 2021, and now at this point they have actually grown in value. We see people posting on Twitter that they paid their bills of the week because they played 5 hours of games and they have earned enough to make that payment. So it's actually very interesting to see people's reaction to that. So if anyone would like to download, I'm sure people can help downloading this and playing it. It's really easy. It's just like Angry Birds. So let me know if you need some help, and I can be of help. I think it would be great sort of experience to getting involved in the space. You just download the wallet, get a game, and now you can see money flowing from a virtual world to yourself, right? From a game to your own, and then you can also use that anywhere else that Bitcoin and Lightning is available. Do you want to come in? Cool. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I'll talk a little bit about, I just wanted to pause a little bit and talk about just kind of conceptually what's happening. So you installed this wallet on your phone, and now you literally are part of this open global financial system. And you notice you didn't have to enter an email address. You did not have to take a picture of your face. So it is truly open. But the question is, how do you get Bitcoin into this system? Because we all got some free stuff, but you're not going to get free stuff every day. So you can earn in gaming, but you can also actually earn with the company that I helped start, is Stackwork. And what we basically do is we get paid by companies in the US to help them with jobs that they can't get done in the United States. So a lot of companies need to train machine learning models. And so this takes millions of images that you need to draw boxes around the stop sign, label the cats, do all that stuff. All of that can be done on your phone. So I don't know if we can, do I play it with the video with this, or? Let's see. It is working. So this is someone doing a real job, and this is basically typing in the name of the product, and then you see right up top they earn 27 sats, and then they can actually pay to their wallet. Takes microseconds. So we don't know who the workers are. They don't know who the employers are. We're just a marketplace to move work from the United States, basically, to any country in the world where people have a mobile phone and free time. And now they have Satoshis. Then they can go blow it on the games. So that's how you get Bitcoin into the system. And it's an interesting thing, especially from an activist standpoint. Because of the way that Lightning is structured, this person actually has Bitcoin without ever having done a Bitcoin on-chain transaction, which is very traceable in public. So keep in mind that what happens on Lightning stays in Lightning. So getting Bitcoin in and getting Bitcoin out is traceable. Well, it's published on the public chain, but what's happening between these nodes never ends up being written to the chain. That's why we can do these gaming transactions all day long, billions of these things, without ever having to record it. We're not bloating the Bitcoin chain with all this stuff. So if you can do all these things on top of Bitcoin and on top of Lightning, what we also came up with is, well, these days, what you just did when you sent that Bitcoin around, you sent a string of letters and numbers. So money for the first time is letters and numbers. Letters and numbers is speech. Money is speech. Speech is money. So we built a communication system that it runs on the Lightning network itself. So WhatsApp, Signal, everything's great. It has end-to-end encryption, right? We talked about people, 95% of the people using encryption nowadays is great. But all of that goes through a central server. So there's a honeypot and there's metadata. So this is the first time that I'm aware of where you can actually send money and speech over a decentralized network that's secured by Bitcoin. I took this screenshot and it's funny, someone pointed out, wait, you got OnlyFans up there, OnlySats. So these are actually These are actually tribes, so talking to people is fun, but also assembling together into groups is fun. So people are creating these things, they're kind of like Reddit on Sphinx. And this is an individual tribe inside of a tribe. I think Matt Odell's here. Marty and Matt were some great supporters early on and really understood the value of this. When I listen to their podcast, I stream them 100 sats a minute because I love the content. This is the value for value model that the podcasting 2.0 guys came up with. And we just put it in the software and made it work. You can try Breeze Wallet, Fountain. There's tons of apps now coming out that do similar things. So the whole thing is freedom of speech. We're about human rights here. So freedom of speech, this is freedom of assembly, but it's also freedom to earn. That's kind of a critical right that no matter where you're born, if you're turning your time into value, people shouldn't be able to take your value or they effectively stole your time, and that's enslavement. So let's make sure that we have the right to turn our time into the store of value that we prefer. That's the whole bottom line. And so we're also coming out with this, we can really do a demo because we're just doing fixed slides, but we also are about to launch a people directory. It's very similar to Twitter. You can actually follow people and find people on Sphinx. So feel free to reach out if you have ideas to chat about. I'll be around for the whole conference. Thanks.
So I think what's really important about these two presentations you just saw is Lightning is bidirectional, right? And so you were, like Paul said, you were able to, the great folks at HRF donated 2,100 sats to each of you. No permission required, no asking, no emails, no personal identification, no information. Through André, he showed you, games built on his company software where anybody around the world with a smartphone can permissionlessly earn Bitcoin by trading their time and playing these games. Paul did the same thing, both with messaging, with podcasting, with producing content creation, right? Again, anybody with an internet connection and some form of a smartphone, doesn't have to be an iPhone, could be like an older Android phone, permissionless earning, right? Ability to do work and be paid in real money, Bitcoin, of course. And so what I think is really cool is, so much of what people talk about and Elizabeth said this earlier, so much what people talk about with Bitcoin is, well, why would anybody want to spend it, right? And I think focusing on earning, especially for people in the West, is really important because, you can't earn 1,000 sats or 10 sats, which is, a tenth of a penny or something like that. You just can't do that over traditional rails. But there are people around the world where that amount of money makes a big difference. So for the kind of like final piece of this, we picked two developers, Pedro and Umar, who are open source Bitcoin developers, who are in different parts of the world. We thought it would be cool now that you've earned some sats to experience sending them. So if you scan these QR codes, and you can pick which one, you can, you'll open up to a BTC Pay server screen, which Rockstar and then the folks will give you kind of a demo of how to do this for yourself. And you'll be able to donate across state lines, across country lines, something as small as a penny, if you'd like. And real quick, as people are still scanning, the interface, what you want to do, you're going to pop up to something like this. You want to make sure that this part says Lightning. So you can select an amount and just say this pay with button says Lightning up there. And you'll be able to send funds to an individual in Latin America or an individual in Eastern Europe without asking permission, right? And I think that's just really cool.
Hello.
So we'll come around and help out on this one to make sure that you get the full end-to-end experience.
Right. Just to touch on one point, I think a crucial piece to this is it's all the same network, right? It's all interoperable. It's all Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if it's layer 1, layer 2. It's essentially, did it just die again? No. It's essentially the same network regardless of what country, what time zone, what region. It honestly doesn't matter. What is interesting is we don't actually know Pedro. We don't know Umar. I actually have never met them in my life. I have supported them and many other developers with hundreds of dollars at this point for their work that they're doing. And so through the work that BTC Pay Server does, it's very, very easy for someone to accept donations, and that's something that we're going to be talking about later on today. we're all very into the industry, so it may not seem as revolutionary to us when we say it, but to outsiders, when we present this technology, especially to someone who's not involved in this at all, gamers who are just inherently more digital and inherently more, focused on the digital aspects of their life. This it clicks immediately. People understand it. They realize that it's money for the internet. It's effectively what that is. And so if we can walk around and help you guys do this, if you would like to keep your sats, you can also keep your Bitcoin. That is also fine too. But if you'd like to see the full end-to-end experience and sort of sending that money back to folks supporting the network, this would be it.
One thing just to extra re-emphasize, these QR codes you want to scan with just a normal QR code reader, not within the mobile app itself, not within Moon Wallet. So scan this with a normal QR code reader. You go to the web page, you'll select an amount, and then you'll find this screen where you'll be able to make a donation.
Do you want to go back once?
Yeah. It's use your phone camera.
Yeah, you're going to want to use your phone camera here.
That's what Ben is doing.
Yeah, there are a lot of QR codes in Lightning.
I know.
Yeah.
But
I
think one point here that I love what Alex said earlier, right? Like in 99, nobody was using encryption. In 2009, everybody was using encryption, right? This network is 3 years old. In 10 years, there will be no QR codes, right? we want to do away with them, but for now, QR codes are necessary. All right, who needs help?
Yeah, do you have questions? We can go around and, oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
So thanks for the sats. I sent mine to the foundation. Nice. But my question, it was mentioned earlier about keys. When we downloaded Moon, there was no seed phrase to save or anything. So if I, how do I recover my account? That's the first question. And then if you could talk about getting Bitcoin onto Lightning and off Lightning.
Sure. Do you want to tackle the Moon question?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to their. So in Moon Wallet, it's a very good question, and one of the reasons why it is so slick in a recommended UX is because they abstract all of the keys and the signing and the seed phrase and everything away from you, so that you can just jump right in and send and receive payments. If you click down here, this bottom button in security, they have kind of like all the information that you would need to recover. Like Moon Wallet is a fully non-custodial, self-custodied wallet. Nobody can take your funds away from you. They are yours as long as you keep your private key safe. And so all that extra information you can find in the security panel, which is a very good question.
Yeah, and just to touch on, each wallet does something different, and there are essentially trade-offs, right? So Moon Wallet is effectively trying to provide a much more friendly UX, a product looking that someone that has never interfaced with this world can just get in and get started without giving up full control of custody of funds and keys and so forth. Other wallets do something different. And there's trade-offs to that. Moon Wallet is a great example to onboard folks because it is very simple and you still maintain custody of the funds. The second question was around moving money in and out of Lightning, right, in Bitcoin. I don't know that we want to get super technical.
How much time do you have?
Yeah.
Alex said we had 90 minutes earlier, so I can talk to you about Lightning Loop if you like. Yeah. So like I do business development for Lightning Labs, and Lightning Labs, one of our flagship products is a service called Loop, which is an on and off ramp in between the Lightning network. So you send us Bitcoin on chain, we will return to you Bitcoin on layer 2, and vice versa, right? And so that's it's called a submarine swap, which is like a well-known smart contract in Bitcoin. It's been around for several years, and so that's Moon Wallet does a similar sort of swapping function as well, where you're able to receive over Lightning into your own self-custody without having had a channel to begin with.
And just to make it clear, as a node operator, if you're running a Lightning node, you yourself can deploy the Bitcoin into Lightning. This is what's called opening a channel, right? So you can have Bitcoin and you say, hey, I'm going to open a channel to the network to someone that is already connected to the network, and I'm going to put 1 Bitcoin into that channel. All of a sudden now I can spend 1 Bitcoin in the Lightning space. So if you have Bitcoin on chain, you have full control of essentially putting that in and out. I guess the ultimate goal would be to eventually abstract these complexities from users. The end user doesn't need to know how the underlying TCP/IP protocol works when you're going to google.com, right? And so when you're seeing these, are the funds in Lightning, are they in Bitcoin? Hopefully and eventually we'll get to a point where the user doesn't need to know the intricacies of the underlying protocol, and you can just use it as a money protocol that you can just send and receive. Yeah.
Another question over here.
I didn't have a question. I sort of just wanted to. I didn't have an exact question. I just wanted to encourage everyone that downloaded the Moon Wallet to change the units from Bitcoin to Satoshis, because you're instantly going to feel richer.
Excellent advice.
So yesterday, the dissident was shown outside, and one of the things that happened to Mr. Khashoggi was that his cell phone seemed to have been targeted by Pegasus.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's phone has been infected with Pegasus, are those transactions still surveilled, or are those private when you're using these types of applications?
Well, this is a tough one.
That's a good. Yeah, that's a very tough question.
It depends on the level of information that the software is providing and collecting. In short, if someone has the keys to your house, they can get into the house, right? And they can get things in the house. So if they're already inside of your phone and they have access to all the other apps, then maybe there's a bigger problem here that isn't necessarily you securing your keys. It's just your security efforts on other things. If you are holding your own keys and they are what is known as, like, I guess, an air gap device, they are offline. Your private keys are offline. No one can see it. Your phone being hacked or stolen won't matter, right? Because you need the keys in order to spend that money. But I imagine in a scenario where someone is using something like Moon, maybe, and Pegasus actually gets all of that information, I'm sure that is a possibility. But it depends on the case. Yeah, I don't know.
Privacy is very hard.
Yes.
How can you tell if your phone has been infected with Pegasus?
The question was, how can you tell if your phone has been infected with Pegasus?
You usually don't.
That's actually happening downstairs right now, if you wanted to know about that.
There you go.
You're in the wrong room, sorry.
Wrong room. So we'll take one more question, and then we're going to watch a video from another friend of ours who couldn't make it.
Yeah, go for it.
So today, some of the most widely used social media apps actually went down. When will we see those being replaced by apps on the Lightning Network?
Sooner than we all think.
Awesome.
Yeah. No,
Working on it.
Yeah, Paul's working on it actively. It's step by step. I think, like we said, the network is 3 years old, Lightning, and I think we're already at a point where, like at Zebedee, we have gamers from all over the world earning sats and playing and making hundreds of thousands, millions of transactions on a monthly basis. This is only going to grow, and as that continues, we saw Twitter adopting a Lightning feature. More and more of these large platforms will eventually adopt the technology, and I think it's a no-brainer.
And if I could just say one thing, to date myself, I was learning to make web pages in 93, 94, and I used to tell people, you don't understand, you're teleporting words around the world from computer to computer. This page you're looking at on the screen is not on this computer, it's on a computer in Norway. And this is important. Well, Lightning is that with money and value. So this is going to eclipse anything we've seen. And you're here for the early days. I just hope you log this in your head going, I should pay attention to this.
Yeah.
This is really big. Lots is going to happen. Lots doesn't work, as we all saw today. But trust me, this is something to pay attention to.
Just to close it out, the creators, DARPANET was the early version of the internet. They definitely didn't conceive that we would be streaming 8K video games around the world when playing online. Okay, like that was not the plan when they created the internet. But 20 years from now, this is where we're at. Right now, we're talking about earning Bitcoin with games. I think we're all extremely excited for the new builders of tomorrow, which are going to come up with some insane ideas that you didn't even think about that was possible, and that will be the future in 10, 20 years. So think about what that means on the beginnings of the internet and what it means now.
Awesome.
Everybody, thanks.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.